Welcome to the Capability Chronicles. I'm your host, Anessa Pfeiffer Johnson. The Capability Chronicles is a series of programs produced with the purpose of promoting an inclusive community by featuring the strengths and contributions of people with disabilities. MAPS is a tool to help people develop their vision for the future. Today, we have Emma Lewis-Sullivan, Janelle Stoneking, and Joanne Riederer. They're joining us to share their successes with MAPS. So, ladies, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. And tell us about MAPS.
Okay. MAPS is a tool that really falls under the category of person-centered planning tools. Before we go deeply into MAPS, let's take a step back and answer the question, what is person-centered planning? Person-centered planning is, utilizes tools or approaches that are designed to assist a person in planning a life and supports, getting unstuck, and catapulting really themselves and their supports into service or into action. So MAPS is just one of the tools that falls under person-centered planning.
And there's different kinds of MAPS.
Yes, there are different kinds of MAPS. Just think about, we have a map of the world, a map of the United States, a map of North Dakota, a map of Bismarck. There are different kinds of maps to show you different levels of detail and give you a different perspective. There are approximately, in the MAPS Mandela, 6 different maps. There's the history map, the dream and nightmare map, which some people think of as 2 maps, but they really go together, the dream map and the nightmare map. Then there is the strength and gifts map, the needs map, the brainstorming map, and the plan of action map.
Okay, and you've all participated in the MAPS planning. What particular maps have you guys done? Have you done a different map than she has, for example?
Right now, we're utilizing the DREAM map as our tool that we've been using because we found that it's been something that's been really helping people, and it's the one most people want because people want to talk about their dreams and what they want for themselves in the future. So that's when we're doing the most. We've also been doing some paths because those are a tool that people are finding a lot of success with.
Mm-hmm.
How did the MAPS program come to North Dakota?
Well, I can't say that I brought it by myself. There are other people who have been trained to be facilitators of the MAP process. However, I have been working with the Arc of Bismarck and the Partners in Policymaking program to train people to be facilitators of the MAP process.
So it came from somewhere else. Where did it come from?
It was developed, person-centered planning really comes from the UK, from Canada, and the United States. There are people from all over who have sort of coalesced to develop alternative ways of doing planning for people instead of institutional-based or organizational-based planning tools that really don't allow for the person to be present and for the person to be the focus. In a lot of those other types of planning, the organization is the focus, or staff hours and availability are the focus, as opposed to what is really vital to the individual and the life that they desire to live.
Okay, and the life they desire to live. Earlier today, we're showing Joanne's map, and we'll cut to that right now so that you guys can see what we're talking about. First of all, I want to make sure to thank Joanne for sharing this map with us, because I know a map is a very personal, can be a very personal or private thing, and I'd like to thank Sarah, for her Joanne's facilitator, for helping us go through the map and explaining to us what Joanne's dreams are. So I see a lot of things here. What were some of the things that were really poignant, like that really surprised you, or just explain?
Well, one of the things that Joanne has shared with me as part of talking about the map after the fact is that in Joanne's dream mapping session, she was surrounded by the staff that support her, family members who love her, and close friends as well. And as a part of the process, everybody helped support Joanne with coming up with things that mean so much to her. So Joanne was just really impressed that her friends and family and the staff support team kind of knew the beginnings of her dreams. And then the part that made the biggest impact with Joanne is that it all was exposed. So it was just kind of this thought process to begin with. And because it's now out on paper, there's really no question about it. Joanne's dreams and goals and nightmares are all exposed for everybody to see. And the great part about that is then the staff can refer to it to look for Joanne's goals and dreams. And Joanne has used this map a lot. She keeps it up in her room. She touches it every day. It's right beside her bed, so she looks at it every evening before she goes to sleep. She thinks about it when she wakes up. And Joanne has used it so much and telling other people about the dream mapping process. As you can see, it's a little worse for wear, but that just shows the miles that have been on the map.
No, this process took a couple hours.
Yes.
And you were there.
I wasn't, but
Okay.
have supported Joanne since by
Since
adding
then.
things to the map.
I was going to ask about that too. Now, when you're making the maps, does it start in the middle, or where do you start?
You just start wherever feels right.
Okay.
You know, when we do the process of a map, let's say Joanne, I said, well, where do you want to go? And we talk about her dreams. Okay, she would love to go to Hawaii. What does that look like? What does Hawaii look like? And those are the important steps in the map process. We don't just put our ideas on the paper. Joanne was consulted on everything that hits this paper. What color is it? What does it look like? Does this look right? And if you don't like something as it is, it can be changed.
Right.
We usually have whiteout pens close by so we can make adjustments as needed. But so it kind of just flows and becomes its own map as you go through the process.
I'm not sure how close the camera can come, but we have things like movies, going to the movies, the Medora musical, going to the beach, family, camping, Skyping, you want to Skype with family, walking. And that's huge. Stronger, seeing your family more. I also noticed something. You've got Mall of America with friends. And now, did you add to that later? Because I see there's different colors on there. Did you add specifically the extra colors and the jewelry and the clothes, or?
Well, the parts that we have added have kind of been throughout the map because with the supports that Joanne has and the goals that continue to change, what walking looks like might be different from a year ago to what it looks like now. And I think the important part is that Joanne continues to work toward these dreams every day. And even though some are big goals, like going to Hawaii and sipping Mai Tais on the beach. There are other things like walking that Joanne incorporates every day. So the dream map truly becomes an inspiration to her that she can see every day. And the reasons why she's working toward walking every day are to encompass all of these things. The part that's missing is about baking. And it is a little poignant that that's the missing part because Joanne does that almost every day now. So those dreams have come true. Part of Joanne's map is to visit Valley City where her mother's grave is, and that has happened over the last year. So it's pretty incredible the things that have happened in the short time that we've had Joanne's map, and the things that we as support staff continue to try to work on because we know all of these things are a part of Joanne's mind and dreams and goals.
I just can't help but think that if everybody did this, I mean, wouldn't all of our family and friends want to support us and help us?
What do you think? Should everybody do it?
Yes. Yeah, everybody should do this. Joanne, when you were doing this, creating this map, you thought of a lot of things to put up there.
Yes.
Did your family and friends suggest things that that they heard you say before, or was it all coming from you?
Me.
From you.
Yes.
It's all coming from you.
And your friends have helped make some of those dreams
Yes.
come true.
Yes.
One of Joanne's friends that took part in Joanne's dream mapping session, Joanne sees every month now, and they didn't have as strong of a relationship then as they do now. So certainly there have been relationships that have budded. There have been a change of view from the support staff as well, of the inspiration that this can hold.
Joanne, do you have friends who've had this dream map done as well? So do any of your friends have the same goals and dreams?
No.
They're not all the same. But if you did have a friend that wanted to go camping, then you would be able to see their dream map, and you'd know that, hey, this is somebody I can go camping with, or you know what I mean. This is so powerful. Point two. What's your favorite thing? What do you want to do next, Joanne?
Camping.
What'd you say?
Camping.
Oh,
Go to the beach?
Camping.
is it camping? Going fishing and going camping, is that all one event?
Yes.
Well, I hope
Take a
you.
trip.
I hope it's a big trip. I hope you can. Joanne, thank you for showing us your map. Now, who was part of that planning process for you when you created your map?
Was Janelle there?
Who else was in the room that day with us?
Laura.
Laura.
And who else?
My sister.
Your sister?
My sister.
It's really valuable to have people in the room with you who know you best and want to see you creating dreams and know what needs to be up on the paper.
Right. So this process, it isn't one-on-one, it's a group process. So who are the professionals that work with this then?
Well, to do a map, it requires two facilitators. One is a graphic facilitator,
Right.
as you saw all of the beautiful color, all of the wonderful images. And the other is a process facilitator, which that person is responsible for moving the group, moving whoever's present through the use of the tool. But it's not necessary, it's not required that it be with a whole lot of people. It's having the people around the focus person who the focus person believes are supportive and who will join them in the dreaming process. It's not effective to have, for example, family members present if the family is not going to give the person room to do the dreaming, if they're going to speak for the person, or if they're going to really try to rob the person of the dream or limit the person in the dreaming process, then they would not be necessarily the right person to have in the room.
Yeah, this sounds like something that could help all of us, anybody, at any time.
Absolutely.
So what kind of questions do you ask to help people find out what their dreams are, to actually admit what they really want?
Well, if we're just focusing on the dream map, and Janelle can jump in too, it really depends on total listening techniques. So you're not just picking up what the person says, you're listening to what they don't say, you're watching their body movements, and they will tell you what the next question is. It starts with open-ended questions like, tell me what you would like to do. What's important to you? What are the key things you want to have as a part of your life? And they'll take it from there.
I think one of the most powerful things about the dream map in particular, when you're doing a dream map, like Emma said earlier, you also talk about the nightmare. Sometimes for us, it's when we think about what we fear the most and what our nightmare could be, that we realize what those dreams mean to us and the power in those dreams. I know that a lot of people, even Joanne, when we did your dream map, when we talked about that nightmare, that was powerful. And I think a lot of people find power in that. And it helps catapult them into realizing the purpose of those dreams and what they really want.
So the questions aren't just what you want, but like, I would be afraid to have never had this happen. I'd be, yeah, is that what the questions are? So you're asking also what they are afraid of.
Well, the purpose of doing the dream and the nightmare together
Yeah.
are so that you're clear on the dreaming is to move the person as far away as possible from the nightmare occurring. It's what's going to happen in your life, or what do you need to happen so that this doesn't happen, so that we take the fear out of it. For a lot of parents, sometimes their fear for their child, specifically a child with a disability, is that we will pass away and there'll be nobody there to support our child. So we might do a dream and a nightmare map for the parents for their child, where the parents are the focus persons, as opposed to this being what the child wants. And that's okay too, as long as you're clear on who the focus person is and who's doing the dreaming.
Now, will the child be there if you do a focus map for the parents?
Usually, yes.
Yeah, so then you can see the
Usually, yes.
reaction by the child, or the child can get an idea of what the parents want.
Right, right.
And do you ever see when kids disagree?
Most definitely.
Do you?
Most definitely. We also, a lot of times, see parents who struggle with a child's dream. And when we say child, it could be an adult child,
Yeah.
of course. And so sometimes when their adult child is saying, what I really want is a relationship with a boyfriend or a girl, and they're
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, no, you're too young. You know, they.
I've seen that a lot on Capability Chronicles, where someone will come on and they want to go to college, or they want to move,
Right.
for example, to Southern California, and the
Right.
parents are like, but you just know that's the right thing for them to
Right.
do.
And that's where the facilitators really come in, because it's the facilitator's job to make sure that they create that protective space to allow the individual room to dream and to give them ownership of whatever their dream is, and not to allow anybody to dictate what the person's dream is.
So what kind of positive correlation, is there a cause and effect between making this dream map and seeing these things unfold?
It has been very powerful for the people that we support who have had dream maps done on their lives. And one theme that has really occurred for everyone who has been involved in the process is that their friends and family have really looked at their lives in a different way and have been more involved in their lives since doing the map. I think when you put a person's dreams up on paper, and when you're staring at those pictures and what you want for yourself, everyone in the room is saying, we need to make this happen. And that has really made family be more involved. The people that support people who have had dream maps get a bigger picture about what this is about. This is what I want for my life. And that has made the biggest difference. People's involvement, and so many people supporting each other more since then.
Now, how long have you guys been working on these dream maps?
Well, I've been doing dream maps and all of those tools that I mentioned earlier for probably 15 years.
So do you have people come back who've accomplished and finished, checked off that dream map, and they want a new one? Or do you
Yes.
build or change it?
It is